Namaste Yatirajaya Vivekananda Suraye Sache Sukha Sarupayo Swamine Tapoharine. Most revered President Maharaj, revered Srimad Swami Gautamananda Ji Maharaj, revered Vice President Maharajis, Swami Suvirananda Ji Maharaj, Swami Bhajanananda Ji Maharaj, Swami Girishananda Ji Maharaj, Swami Vimalatmananda Ji, and Swami Dibbananda Ji. On the dais, my colleagues Swami Balabhadrananda Ji and Swami Bodhasarananda Ji, and also as speakers we have sitting on the dais retired bureaucrat Sri Ram Sevak Bandyopadhyay, along with Professor Shubhendu Majumdar of Management Institute, to thank the audience at the end of the function. Today, as you all know, the 1st of May, on this day, 127 years ago, Swami Vivekananda founded Ramakrishna Mission Association in Calcutta at the residence of Sri Ramakrishna's great devotee, Balaram Bose. Balaram Bhavan is now known as Balaram Mandir. On this day at 3 p.m., the monumental arch of Renaissance Vedanta, or should we say, the practical Vedanta, was inaugurated. This is the 128th foundation day of the Ramakrishna Mission. On this auspicious occasion, I have the privilege of welcoming all of you to this historic meeting. Most welcome to all of you, and my reverential regards at the holy feet of our most revered Vice President Maharaj, most revered President Maharaj, Swami Gautamananda Ji Maharaj, and also at the feet of our revered Vice President Maharajis, Swami Suvirananda Ji Maharaj, Bhajanananda Ji Maharaj, Girishananda Ji Maharaj, Vimalatmananda Ji, who is yet to come, and then of course Swami Dibbananda Ji. Initially, Swamiji was in a dilemma, to be or not to be, to organize or not to organize. After reaching the United States, Vivekananda observed the enormous power of organization that lay behind American life. Once he told his host, Emily Leon of Chicago, I quote, "You know, I have had one of the greatest temptations of my life here. It is organization," unquote. Let's go back to Dakshineshwar. Let's catch a few glimpses of Sri Ramakrishna's concept of compassion, his vision about his mission. One day in 1884, in September, at Dakshineshwar, Sri Ramakrishna was seated in his room talking to his disciples about a famous statement of the Vaishnava religion taught by Sri Chaitanya Deva. Jive daya, name ruchi, jive daya, name ruchi, Vaishnava puja. Compassion for all living beings, love of God's name, and service to devotees. Repeating the word compassion, Sri Ramakrishna went into Samadhi. After a while, he returned to normal consciousness and said to the devotees, I again quote, "How foolish it is to speak of compassion. Man is an insignificant worm crawling on the earth, and he is to show compassion to others. This is absurd. It must not be compassion, but service to all. Recognize them as God's manifestations and serve them. Serve human beings as God," was the message. This was the very seed of the whole Ramakrishna mission. This was the very seed of the whole Ramakrishna mission planted in 1884 by Ramakrishna himself at Dakshineshwar. But at the time, only Narendra, later Swami Vivekananda, understood the implications of what the Master had said. That day, standing on the veranda outside Ramakrishna's room, he said to his brother disciples, I again quote, "What a wonderful light I have discovered in those words of the Master. How beautifully he has reconciled the ideal of bhakti with the knowledge of Vedanta, generally interpreted as dry, austere, and incompatible with human sentiments. What a grand, natural, and sweet synthesis it was, and it is. Those following the paths of karma, action, and yoga, contemplation, jnana, karma, action, and jnana, contemplation, are similarly benefited by these words of the Master. If God gives me opportunity, I shall preach it unto the mankind," said Narendranath, later on Vivekananda. To Alasinga Perumal, his trusted Indian disciple, he wrote on 17th February 1896, I again quote, Swamiji writes to Perumal, Alasinga Perumal, "The dry Advaita must become living poetic in everyday life. The dry Advaita must become living poetic in everyday life. Out of the hopelessly intricate mythology must come concrete moral forms. And out of the bewildering yogism must come the most specific and practical psychology. And all this must be put in a form so that a child must grasp it. And that's my life's work." What inspired Vivekananda to bring this historic interpretation of Vedanta and call it a practical Vedanta? Startling his audience in Madras, Vivekananda replied, I quote, "Because I was born for this. I was born for this, and it was left for me to do." The dream of practical Vedanta was tormenting Vivekananda's mind since his days of wandering in India. But how to realize it? It is in America that he first found the answer to this question. And the answer was organization. To a Western mother, he confided that he had the greatest temptation of his life in America, and that was organization. Yet, wrote, even before the Ramakrishna mission, the organization of Vivekananda's dream came into existence. He was absolutely sure of its need. To Mrs. Olibull, he wrote in 1896, "Organization," I quote, "organization has its faults, but without that nothing can be done." A year after, the thought of making an organization was more powerful in his consciousness. To his brother disciple Ramakrishnananda, he wrote on 24th June 1896, I again quote, we want organization, he writes to Ramakrishna Nandaji. Organization is power and the secret of this obedience, unquote. However, Vivekananda understood that an individual may be powerful, but it is not possible for one person to do everything on a large scale. A following is necessary in order to carry great ideas to posterity. He had the mission of his master to fulfill. He couldn't do it alone. On the other hand, Vivekananda also understood the possible dangers of organization, like politics, power struggles, corruption, and commercialism. At Thousand Island Park, during the summer of 1895, he debated, again I quote, to organize or not to organize. If I organize, the spirit will diminish. If I do not organize, the message will not spread, unquote. In the end, he was determined that his master's great message should not be lost to humankind. Vivekananda knew that the only thing that would keep corruption out of organized work was purity of life. Towards the end of April 1897, Vivekananda returned to Calcutta from Darjeeling to give concrete shape to Sri Ramakrishna's teaching on practical Vedanta. The Ramakrishna mission was officially born on Saturday, 1st of May 1897. Swamiji called for devotees to gather at 3 p.m. at Balaram Basu's house in Calcutta. 40 people, both devotees and monastics, came, and he said to them, Swamiji said, from my travels in various countries, I have come to the conclusion that without organization, nothing great and permanent can be done. This organization will bear the name of him in whose name we have become sannyasis. Him taking whom as our ideal, you are leading the householder's life in the field of activity. This samsara, this world, him whose holy name and the influence of whose unique life and teachings have within 12 years of his demise spread in such an unthought of way, both in the East and the West. Let this Sangha organization, let this Sangha, meaning thereby organization, therefore be named the Ramakrishna mission. We are but the servants of the Master. May you all help in this work, was the appeal of Swamiji. Swamiji's proposal was accepted with enthusiasm by all monks and householder devotees present on the day. Again on 5th of May, Vivekananda met with some devotees and brother monastics. At this time he declared, I quote, this association Sangha shall be known as the Ramakrishna mission. The aim of the Sangha is to preach those truths which Sri Ramakrishna has for the good of humanity, preached and demonstrated by practical application in his own life, and to help others to put these truths into practice in their lives for their temporal, mental, and spiritual advancement. Vivekananda then talked about the method of work, training men, introducing arts and industries, and also the humanitarian work. Vivekananda became general president of the mission, and he made Swami Brahmananda and Swami Yogananda president and vice president respectively of the Calcutta Center. Narendranath Mitra was appointed secretary. Dr. Shashi Bhushan Ghosh and Sharat Chandra Sarkar under secretaries, and Sharat Chandra Chakraborty was the reader of scriptures. This is how on May 1st, 1897, his dream, his master's vision and mission saw the light of the day. A new organization was born. It was the Ramakrishna mission with its motto, Atmana Mokshartham Jagat Dhitayocha, for one's own liberation as well as for the good of the world. With his prophetic vision, he saw the mission based on the deep spiritual foundation of purity, sacrifice, service, universality, and non-sectarian approach, would lead this organization through the vicissitudes of history and emerge as a model for others to imitate. 100 years later, the Ramakrishna mission gets world's attention. The UNESCO director, Dr. Federico Mayor, in his inaugural speech delivered in Paris on the centenary celebration of Vivekananda in the Chicago Parliament of 1893, said, quoted, "I was struck by the similarity of the articles of the Constitution of the Ramakrishna mission, which Vivekananda established in 1897, with those of UNESCO." With these few words, I would like to wrap up by offering reverential pranams to Most Revered President Maharaj, revered Vice President Maharajis and other elders present here, and a word of cordial welcome once again to all who are present here today, this lovely afternoon of the 1st May. Thank you so very much.